Okay, if you're not already following Girlboss on Instagram, what are you doing? It's basically a group chat you wish you had at work. No bullshit career advice, tons of unhinged workplace memes, the latest hot jobs, and conversations about cool women who are absolutely killing it in their careers. And yes, they do giveaways too. So go follow Girlboss at Girlboss. You won't regret it.
The moment that I started to take control of my money and like respect myself in that way and could make those my own decisions, I realized it wasn't that hard, which was a revelation. I was like, we've really been catfished. But also it was just so nice to never have to ask.
Yeah.
And I always say I'm a gold digger who has her own gold. Like I don't want to be a nurse or a purse. Yeah. So like you'll never catch me with a 90-year-old, and I'm also not going to like pay for everything.
Yeah.
But I also I don't need your money, which is the best feeling ever.
Yeah. Welcome to Ambition 2.0, the podcast from Girlboss, where we explore what it really takes and costs to have it all in work, life, family, and self. I'm your host, Amanda Goetz, 2-time founder, 5-time CMO, author of the book, Toxic Grit, How to Have It All and Actually Love What You Have. I'm super excited because today I'm here with Miss Haley Sachs, Mrs. Dow Jones. Haley is a millennial financial expert, New York Times bestselling author of the book Future Rich Person, The New Rules for Building Wealth, which we are definitely going to dive into, and host of the podcast Financial Tea. Haley has built a community of over 2 million people by making money feel less intimidating for millennials and Gen Z. Through her content, she helps people make more, spend less, and feel more confident with their finances. Haley, welcome to Ambition 2.0.
I'm so excited to be with you here, Amanda.
I'm so excited to have you. Okay, we start every conversation with the first question, so everybody answers the first one. What does ambition mean to you today, and how has it changed over time?
You know, I think of this a lot because I think that ambition used to mean to me having the one thing that I wanted, like going after that really hard, which I've done for 15 plus years. Even before I started Mrs. Dow Jones, it was like the journey to get there and figure it out. But now I think ambition means to me having some of a lot of things. I think that's actually a lot harder, I've realized as I get older, and is sort of like the key to happiness maybe. And as I'm very good at having a lot of one thing. And I actually like that, getting really ambitious about one thing. But now I'm trying to expand it towards actually, having fullness in multiple areas, which I feel like you think about a lot too.
For sure.
Yeah.
What does that stir up for you? Like when you try to take your foot off the pedal, maybe in the one thing that you want to go deep in?
I think it's more just like I have to be careful with my time management.
Yeah.
And it's just about balance, because there's like some things that you want on your plate that are maybe like really addictive and fun, and some things that are like really hard work and annoying to do. And you have to like sit your ass down and actually just like get it done.
Yeah.
And you have to do all of them, even though some you're going to want to do less than others.
I'm kind of curious, which ones do you find yourself gravitating towards more, and which ones do you gravitate towards less?
Well, I think in terms of like my plates that I'm trying to fill, it's obviously work, building I want to be Mrs. Dow Jones forever. So like really looking at this from a macro perspective of like the next 10, 20, 30 years, how does this change when I have a family, or like, what deals do I want to make? What IP do I want to, create? How do I want to help people with, the world changing? How does that affect the advice that we're giving? All of that. Yeah. How can I build community? All these things. But then it's like, okay, my family is so important to me. So like, how can I make time to see them? My friends are so important to me. Taking care of myself, like physically, but like also emotionally, like am I filling my own cup? All of these things that can go to the wayside when you get so focused just on one goal. It's very easy for me to like forget to brush my hair, never get groceries. Like I'll always take care of my dog well. Like he gets the royal treatment.
Mystery, right?
Yeah, Mystery always will get like he gets whatever he needs. But like Haley can definitely fall to the wayside in pursuit of that one thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so let's take things back to the origin story of Mrs. Dow Jones. But you've said that our financial belief systems are actually formed around age 7.
Yeah.
Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of data around this that basically, you know, while you're in school learning about Mesopotamia and like playing the recorder, really important things that you use in your 30s and 40s and so on, that's actually the time where your relationship to money is being formed the most. And so and most people, you know, we talk like they're maybe in therapy for their mental health if they have issues with that or they want to improve it. And, you know, with physical health, you can get a trainer, you can do a class on YouTube or whatever. There's a lot of resources and also encouragement in the culture to focus on that. But then with your financial health, which again was set by the time you're 7, no one encourages you ever to like examine it or to improve it or gives you the roadmap for how to do it better. And so I think about that a lot.
What kind of messages do you feel that we'll talk primarily girls because the audience of Girlboss is obviously a lot of women. What kind of messages do you feel girls absorb more of in those formative years?
Oh, I mean, I think that we get told to that deprivation is like the way to build wealth, you know, like that we should like cut the avocado toast, never get our nails done, that like the more we cut, the more financially successful we're being. I think we're told that like Wall Street is not for us at all. Investing's not for us. We're told to just be grateful to be in a room and for any opportunities. And so that leads to us not negotiating, which actually creates more of an impact on our finances than the wealth gap. And so there's so much that happens with, and we're also told, I think that it's feminine to be bad with money. Like these characters also in society that you look up to, like I'm such a Sex and the City girl, Carrie Bradshaw, like such a feminine queen, like had this idealized life in New York City, but so bad with money. And it was like this cute trait of hers. Like it's always positioned, you know, Legally Blonde, whenever she is anxious, she goes to the nail salon. Like this like little treat economy is so romanticized, you know, just all of these, Rachel Green and Friends, the first episode, like daddy's cutting me off, you know?
Yeah.
Or Issa Rae in Insecure, she is splitting the rent with her situationship, like basically paying for him, you know? So all of these women that you look up to in the culture are also not financially savvy. And so that was important for me with Mrs. Dow Jones was like, how can I make it aspirational to be good with money? Because it feels like this shameful thing where you do feel like embarrassed to tell your friends you can't do something because it feels like, you know, a sense of deprivation. Or I think also because money is a source of value, it makes you feel like you have less value if you don't have as much. So it's just caught up a lot in our self-belief.
I saw you post a TikTok about this and it really struck me.
I love when a TikTok just strikes someone. I mean, that is art. That is art, girl. Like, forget the Mona Lisa. Look at my feed.
It really did.
Girl.
But you were talking about the kind of conflation between self-care and splurging.
Yes.
And how we are living in very stressful times. And yet we're kind of normalizing, well, treat yourself. And in the same video, you said we are the most advertised to demographic. Yeah,
our parents were advertised, saw maybe 500 ads a day. We see 5,000. 20% of what you see on social media is an ad. And then you combine that with this idea of frictionless finance, which is amazing for building wealth, right? Like there's no friction, Amanda, for us opening a Roth IRA right now. We could open a, you know, custodial account for your children, like whatever it is. Like,
you need to do that. That's actually on my to-do list.
You should. It's so great. Like you can really grow wealth, but like there's so much opportunity at your fingertips to like be really good with your finances. But there's also the other side of that, which is there's so much opportunity to spend money and there's so much telling you what to spend it on. So you could be like, on your couch, eyes sort of glazed over, so sleepy. Maybe you had a really stressful day. You didn't do anything to take care of yourself. You didn't take a bath. You didn't take a walk. You didn't like breathe or call a friend or like make a nourishing meal. You just sat with it as we all do. We're just like, okay, great.
Yep.
This is my life. And then you go on Instagram because you think that's what's going to make you feel better. And then you see ads for things that you think are going to change your life and make you feel like that day never happened. And it's just this like way of regulating your emotions. And then you add in the fact that it's frictionless. You can just use Apple Pay, like Apple be paying. You know, you shove your phone.
I had to remove my credit card from Apple Pay.
Oh, I think that's amazing.
And it cut down my spending so much because I had to go get my card from my purse.
So that's what I say. You have to add. I love that, Amanda, because I'm all about adding friction back into your finances. I think we need to kick it old school. Yeah. Get that freaking card out. You know, unsubscribe to the newsletters. Unfollow those influencers. Like, you could not catch me dead having like those influencers. I don't know. I think I know what's going on in like funny social media and like business, finance, social media, Wall Street social media, but I have no idea about anyone's kids or like, I don't like follow like individuals in that way. And I don't follow influencers really that much either.
I think it's really fascinating how you made me just think of this moment that I should put onto my phone. Anytime I'm sitting there and I like have this urge to want to buy something, I should just take whatever that thing is that's in my cart and be like, oh, okay, $109, whatever, and put that into like, that's more self-care. Put it into some kind of savings account, move money from my checking to my savings. I don't know what it is, but you're sparking something.
Yeah, like having that. I mean, that's like really great behavior. Like if you could do that, A+.
Right.
I'm more like buy a printer. Like you're going to make impulse purchases. Like these are the smartest minds at the biggest corporations trying to get you to spend all your money. Of course, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
You know, and you might still do it sometimes. But the point is like whenever you can turn that around, do it. Like I'm a big like lover of a return.
Let's go back to your origin story of Mrs. Dow Jones, because the story is that you got issued the 401k paperwork and the health insurance, and you were like, this is all so confusing. What were some of the money beliefs you had growing up, and what did you have to overcome to get to where you are teaching this stuff?
That's such a good question. And I grew up in the book with what I call a Wall Street father, a WSF, and he never brought his work home with him. I also had a mom who worked. My mom made more than my dad when they met, demanded prenup, like girl boss extraordinaire, but then had 3 kids in under 3 years. So obviously got knocked out of the workforce as like most women would. And, you know, now she's back in, she's like a social worker, whatever. She went back to school, heroic journey. Love you, Patty. But like just to say that I had 2 parents who like are very savvy, like really know what they're doing, but they never taught us shit. And I have 2 sisters, and the 3 of us didn't learn anything about money. And so I wanted to be a comedian. And I think in my head, the belief that I had was like a guy would take care of me, that I would either marry someone or that my dad would do it. And like, I think when I was like around 24, I realized that like I was definitely not getting married in my 20s. Like I could not have, I appreciate they got married at 19. I could not have been less serious. Like I'm like, when I see those girls who locked it down in college, I'm like, damn, like you were on your shit. Like I didn't even know about that game. I was like, couldn't have been
MRS degree?
Yeah, the MRS. Like I was just missing. Like, I don't know. I was missing that chip. And so, you know, I call it Mrs. Dow Jones because it's like, instead of being married to this belief that like someone's coming to take care of you and like that relationship is going to like provide for you or whatever, you do it for yourself. And then you get to love who you love and, you know, make your decisions based on that truth.
As someone who did get married very young and was in a equitable type relationship, we both made the same amount of money, and then he took a big risk, was making no money when I filed for divorce. Like, there's no one that can assure you that you're going to be taken care of. And financial independence was like my core value system going into any future dating. I cannot have anyone hold money as a like form of control over me.
I hate that.
Yeah. So
and my parents did that to me. So I have like stories about that in my book, which is like, it's very nice. Like I'd be an asshole to complain about having any sort of financial support. Obviously, like in this country, it's so hard to get by. And like, it is a huge privilege to have like any sort of money coming your way from your parents. I get that. But also it was, I would say, my closest experience to that sort of manipulation, just because like it gave them control over my choices. Can you do that? Can you do this trip? Is that the right job for you? Like they basically had like the keys to my life.
Yeah.
And then, the moment that I started to take control of my money and like respect myself in that way and could make my own decisions, I realized it wasn't that hard, which was a revelation. I was like, we've really been catfished. But also it was just so nice to never have to ask.
Yeah.
And I always say I'm a gold digger who has her own gold. Like I don't want to be a nurse or a purse. Yeah. So like you'll never catch me with a 90-year-old, and I'm also not going to like pay for everything.
Yeah.
But I also I don't need your money, which is the best feeling ever. Yeah. And I really believe in joint accounts for that reason too. I mean, in joint accounts, but also separate accounts.
Yeah, we do that now. Like, it's like
one for the shared expenses.
One for all the shared expenses, mortgage, etc.
Yeah.
And then based on where we're at in each other's careers, like if I'm making more, percentage goes up. If he's making more, percentage goes up.
Oh, I love that. So equitable.
Yeah.
Do you think it's important to have those, like, to make it, like, how often are you recalibrating that?
Whenever changes happen drastically in our career, like I was an author before taking a full-time job. So very different expenses when you're on a book tour versus, not investing in that. So it's kind of when there are just shifts in our careers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you feel so many smart, ambitious women still today feel embarrassed about this topic, about money, about not having enough money?
I think it really just comes down from this self-belief. And so the first part of Future Rich Person is called Face It. And it is about money mindset. And it's because, Amanda, I've worked with like tens of thousands of people. Like I've been doing this for 10 years. Yeah. I've done so many courses, so many webinars, met people one-on-one. Like I've seen it all. I've heard so many stories. And the biggest thing that really stood out to me was just how much mindset affects behavior. And so what I realized, but it's like, okay, I can sit down with anyone and explain what a 401k is, how to open an emergency fund, how to pay out for your debt, whatever. But you are never going to actually make those changes unless you work first on your self-belief, because belief creates action. So, it's so important to first work on like how you perceive yourself with money and your mindset around it. And then from there, you can basically shift your behavior.
So if someone's listening and they're like, oh, this topic just, I have like a little allergic reaction to it, what is one tactical thing that you would suggest to them?
The first thing I would say is like, you're not bad with money. You were just never taught. Like every person that you admire or think is like really good with money started exactly where you did at zero. Even just look at the statistics of generational wealth. 90% of generational wealth is gone by the second generation. By the third generation, 70% of it is gone. Why is that? Because you can inherit money, but no one inherits financial literacy. And so just because you're not born with it doesn't mean you can't build it. And so I think it's actually really humanizing and like democratizing to know like I'm starting at the same place that Warren Buffett did, from zero with zero financial literacy. He built himself to be Warren Buffett. You can build yourself to become financially literate, but you have to get over the shame, because like, what good is it doing for you? It's not your fault. And of course, the best time to start was yesterday, but the second best time to start is today. Yeah. And I was talking to a woman who was 58, whose husband died, they'd been together since high school, had no idea about her finances, and then fully financial glow up, took control of everything, like is so empowered and like, this isn't hard. And, wishes that she had that time back where she could have like been more involved along the way. But it's like, it's ever too late to start.
Yep. I love that story. I know. You don't need another email clogging up your inbox. I have way too many unread emails right now. I could show you my inbox, but I won't. Girlboss Daily is a free must-read career newsletter delivered to your inbox Monday to Friday. Stay on top of what's happening in the world of work as it unfolds and get helpful tips on everything from navigating layoffs to productivity hacks and becoming a better leader. No spam, no junk, only the most curated content, I promise. Join over 100,000 ambitious women who are finding success on their own terms with the link in the show notes, or sign up at newsletter.girlboss.com. looking rich versus being financially powerful. Let's dive into this because I think that this is a really important topic.
It's a complicated topic.
It is. It's nuanced. What's the difference between looking rich and being financially powerful?
Well, first of all, I want to say, Amanda, that and this is separate from looking rich, but I think as women, it is just there's a data point around it that we get paid more, people listen to us more, we're respected more when we look good. There's actually you make 30% more money when you look good. And there's all of these weird psychological things, like even having good teeth or your height or things like this, affect how we're perceived in the workplace. So I think that there is a lot to be said for, I think whenever there's any sort of cheat code, take it because life is hard enough.
Yeah.
So if you can't beat them, join them. Does that mean spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every month on your maintenance and your highlights and your this and your that? No, but it's within reason, whatever you can afford to do. I think it does help you and puts you in a place in the world where you maybe are taken more seriously, which is fucked up. But whatever, we live in this society where that's the case.
I was the youngest VP at a public company and I had 2 non-negotiables. I rented the runway because I was I'm not going to buy $1,000 dresses or $500 skirts, but I'm going to rent them.
Yeah, smart.
And then I got a blowout once a week so that I could feel put together. And those 2 things made me feel it's
your armor.
Confident. Yeah.
Yeah, you need that. I completely get that.
Yeah.
So anyways, I talk about this in the book a lot, this idea of financial nihilism. And I coined a term called learned financial helplessness, which is basically this thing that I see happening a lot with Gen Z and millennials, where you feel like the cards are so stacked against you, which by the way, they are. And I hear you, wages have increased 7% since 2000. The cost of living has increased 67%, inflation, AI taking all the entry-level jobs, student debt crisis, housing crisis, it's a lot. We're in this crazy world. But the thing about learned financial helplessness is it's people who use all of that evidence that things are harder and they see it as an excuse to give up. And they say, okay, great. Everything is so screwed that I might as well not try. I'm going to throw in the towel. I'm going to, we're on a floating rock. The world is burning. So I might as well use buy now, pay later to pay for my Coachella tickets and fake rich instead of actually becoming rich because tomorrow's not promised. And I even hear that when I put out information about compound interest, where I'll say if you invest $200 a month by the time you're in your 60s, you're going to have millions of dollars, whatever. And they're but it's not, what's $1 million when you're in your 60s? It's only going to be worth 500,000 today or whatever because of inflation. And I'm girl, wouldn't you rather have the 500K than nothing?
Right.
And so the looking rich versus being rich thing, I think really just comes from a place of learned financial helplessness. And that's another belief that you need to break down. Because again, the ones who win are not going to be the ones who let that voice in their head take over. They're going to be the ones who do it anyways. Yeah. There's always historically been reasons not to do things and why this is hard. And the ones who are successful are the ones who pursue it regardless.
You're talking to a point that I've had to really overcome. So I grew up, my parents didn't go to college. My dad's the town plumber, but he had this very YOLO life. You can't take it. You're not going to bury me with my money type of thing. He's now in his 70s, still working. And I'm we have to break this generational cycle of our family. And I think that is such a powerful reminder. And it's a bit of both. Let's talk about splurging or self-care from your perspective as someone who, just said it's, taking care of yourself and all of that. What is your advice on how somebody should look at their finances and think about where to splurge or where to save?
Well, first of all, Amanda, I feel most people are managing their finances based on vibes. They're not, you know what I mean? It's not, and I like to have a number.
Okay.
So I every month have what I call a money date, which is a set time where I sit down with my finances and I'm actually looking through all my credit card statements. I'm making sure everyone Venmo'd me. I'm making sure my invoices are paid. I'm, making a plan for the next month or right now for the summer because I'm planning trips for August. So it's okay, how much can I spend? That's something that I save for all year. So you know what I mean? Like I'm not going in blindly to anything. And so, and the budget that I use is always the 50-30-20 rule. So 50% of your income towards needs, 30% towards wants, and 20% we put towards action money. And that's money that you actually take action with to become a future rich person. So that's like, you know, the money that you use to build your emergency fund, to pay off your debt, to invest. Like that's, no matter where you're at in your, like how much you make, if you don't have that action money left over at the end of each month, you're going to be on a hedonic treadmill forever, you know? And it's like, it sounds like your dad never had any action money. He didn't prioritize it. And now he's sort of fucked.
Yeah.
And so, and by the way, with that, what's really scary is that he might look at you to retire him or to take care of his healthcare expenses or any of those things. And then that could get in the way of you putting away money
it's
for
a generational cycle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I have in the book a lot of ways to sort of break that, because there's a lot of like governmental programs. There's ways to like drive down costs for if you have aging parents who like need financial support. But the idea is to, as much as you can, put on your oxygen mask first, because you don't want to create that for your own children too. But back to the budget. So with that wants, that's really where I would look to for like my splurges. And I do love to buy clothes. And so I really look at it as you can have anything, but not everything. So, you know, keeping in mind what that number is and then utilizing that towards the things that I really value. And that's why I love my money date, because I can see when I go through things like what actually moved the needle for me or not with my spending. You know,
in the beginning, setting that money date,
horrible and still horrible.
Yeah.
And I say that every time I get interviewed. I'm like, you think I want to do this? No, I want to take a toothbrush to the bathroom tile and do that instead. And I don't even clean my own house. Like, it's like, girl, anything but. But then you're fine once you're in it. It's like going to the gym.
Okay. So that's great advice. It's painful at first.
You're never going to want it, but you have to force yourself to do it, because money is a relationship. So if you're in a relationship, you never go on a date, you never get to know it. What kind of relationship is that?
It's great advice. So stepping into your financial power, what's one money move that instantly makes a woman feel more in control of her financial wealth?
Well, I think definitely having that money date, but I also think negotiating. Like I think negotiating is the most underrated skill, but the most important one. Like every time that you're offered a job, that is the starting point. Every time that you do something good at work, you get an accolade, put it in a wins folder, build the case for when you do ask for a raise of why you deserve it. Like women need to be asking for more money. I guarantee it that you are underpaid. By the way, you're not going to make more money if you're bad at your job. It's really important. Like, I don't believe in quiet quitting. I think that goes with the learn helplessness thing. Like, be good at what you do, take pride in your work. That's important as well. But like, try and like increase your skills. Like, you are so powerful. So like, focus on your human capital. If you're scared about AI is not going to replace the people who know how to use it.
Right.
You know, like learn how to get really good at it. Be the person in the office that people are looking to as like the source of how to, you know, really work Claude to help them with their workflows, things like that, you know?
So something I noticed, I grew up with all boys, and like a lot of my 20s and 30s was around, you know, tech bros and founders, and the drastic difference between the conversations I'd have at tables with a bunch of bros versus going out with like girlfriends was different. Like, they would be immediately talking about what they were investing in, and they would be like, you got to talk to this person, he's building this, like, you got to learn about this software, whatever. And what's one way that you find in a group of women, how do you steer this conversation, or do you, or what's one way that someone listening that's like, I don't want to sit and just talk about, like, obviously we all want to talk about the tea of everything, and that's good too. But like, what's one way that you could broach this topic with your friends?
To be honest, Amanda, like, it usually comes from a place of desperation. Like, you know, where you really are feeling like you need some help, and you bite the bullet and you do it. And I call that like your aha money moment. Like, for me, that humiliation led to me learning about money, but like, you know, your community is so important too. And I think what you'll realize when you do ask is that they're really open to answering and they have really good advice. You know, like, I have a friend who has a podcast and had a horrible podcast deal. And her friend, who had like the same amount of listeners, was making so much more money. And she realized that she was making as much money as she made in a year and a month just because her deal was so bad.
Wow.
And this girl does not like talking about money. And so she just bit the freaking bullet and was like, okay, I'm going to ask her about what her deal is. And like the other person was so generous, it told her everything, like it was so not something to be scared about, and then helped her so much because she had those benchmarks so she could go and like get herself the hell out of that deal and get a better deal. And like, has never like taken a bad deal again or not read the fine print or anything or not known her value. So I think it's a little bit about just being brave.
Yeah.
Like biting the bullet because you're desperate for that information.
Where do you see women giving away financial power without even realizing it?
I see it a lot in the home because I think obviously women take on so much labor in the home, like emotional labor, you're physically laboring, you're taking care of the kids, you're cleaning, you're cooking, you're, all these things. It's a lot. And so I think because of that, when you have a partner who's like, I'll take care of the money, it makes you feel like, great, one less thing on my plate.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, oh, I'll do this, you do that. We're partners.
Yep.
But then what you realize is like money is not the same as like cleaning the stove or making some chili. That's actually something that gives them power over you. And so by doing that, you're setting yourself up to be in a relationship where you have less control. So I really think that's it. And I think it also comes from this feminine urge. There's this bad idea of like being a woman that like it's like cute and sexy and fun to be shitty with money. And I lived by that too. Like I really think that that was me before I had my aha money moment.
Yeah.
Like I talk about in the book how like if like you are who you surround yourself with, and like, you have 4 broke friends, you're about to be the 5th. And I talked about how like, when I had a friend growing up whose name was Pratya, and she was really good with money. And it was before I had my aha money moment. And it triggered me so much that I would like try and get her to like do bad things with her money. You know what I mean?
Like what? What were you trying to get?
Like I'd like make her come and like on a trip to Tulum. She like didn't want to go on or like couldn't like wasn't. And she's like just, and she like didn't fall for it a lot of the time, but like sometimes she did. And like I totally had like her worst intentions in my heart because I was like, I was like, Pratya's so good with money. Like this is like so triggering for me. Like I don't even know what a Roth. I thought 401k was a road race. Like I was like, wow, she's so boring. Like she's like not having as much fun as me. Like look at me. Like I'm like
you're like helping her.
Yeah, I'm having the best time over here on like the bad side of the tracks. And it's like, no, girl, like you're so misinformed.
That is so funny. Okay. Final question, and we'll go into rapid fire. What would you tell someone who feels like they are behind financially?
The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time to start is today. You were never taught. And that it's going to feel like this huge hurdle, right? Like it's going to feel like this huge mountain that you are supposed to climb in one day, but start really small. Like I always say that with the money dates too. Like when I did my first money date, Amanda, I literally went through a year's worth of expenses. My best friend and I locked ourselves in her apartment for one full weekend, like 48 full hours. We were like existing on Thai food. We printed out all of our bank statements and this and that. And we were like, so intense. Girl, you don't have to do that. It can be 2 months of expenses. You can make it feel like something that you want to do again. It's like if you go to the gym and you work out really hard, you're never going to go the next day.
No.
But if you do just like, a little incline walk, maybe a few push-ups, you might show up on,
Yeah, you're not completely
You're not
depleted.
toast. Yeah. So you have to like make it something that you could actually like maintain.
Yeah.
And also like have a lot of self-forgiveness because you're never taught this. Society doesn't want you to know it. Like these corporations, the whole financial services industry is based on you not knowing things. Like they are not incentivized at all for you to be financially literate. They're incentivized for you to stay in the dark because that's where they make all their money, off of overdraft fees, off of like you signing up for credit cards, like, bank accounts that charge you fees that you're not even looking at. Like this is a $1 trillion industry.
100%. Okay, let's do some rapid fire.
Okay.
First money belief you had to unlearn.
That money wasn't for me.
One financial habit that has changed your life.
Money date. Oh, and automation. I'll say automation will change your freaking life. If you're trying to hit like a savings goal or any goal, like even investing, like automate that shit because you don't even want to see that money in your account. You want it to go right to the place where you need it to. And it will just be like, you'll just watch your goals come true without you having to lift a finger.
Tactical question. Do you have it automating to different, like your true saving that like, where you can, what'd you call action fund, right?
Action money. Well, so with your action money, wherever you are on your financial journey, it will go somewhere different. So it's like you could be starting from zero and need to build your emergency fund. That would be your first step on your future rich person journey. Once you have your emergency fund, then in your high yield savings account, the second step will be paying off high interest rate debt.
Yep.
Then after that, it's about maxing out those tax advantaged retirement accounts because obviously we hate Uncle Sam. We got to hide our money from him.
Right. 100%.
We are creepy uncle. Yeah. And so wherever you're at in that journey, that's where your action money is going to go.
I love that.
But it's like when I started my financial journey, saving that emergency fund was a bitch. But it got there only through automation. And I remember being like, damn, didn't even miss that money. And look at me. Like I was looking at Capital One. I had it in little buckets. Mystery had an emergency fund. I was like, shit, like this rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. That's a great first step.
Yeah.
What's a splurge you'll always defend?
Oh, I have so many. Like with like beauty stuff, I love nails, which I know is like, I've gone no nail. I know it's like, there's so much talk on the internet. Women should have bare nails. We're wasting time at the salon. This is why men are richer than us. I'm like, relax, Joanna. Like I am literally like enjoying my damn life. It makes me feel so good having my nails done. Like I can listen to a podcast, just like it's 90 minutes. It's not the end of the freaking world. You're telling me you never waste 90 minutes your whole day?
Right.
Whatever. Like last 3 weeks. Love that. A splurge. Oh, like anyone who can help me buy back time, obsessed. Housekeeper, obsessed. Like mine's name is Juliet. Love her to death. Like she rocks my world. What other splurges? Anything that will save me time, and then also anything that fills my cup. So like I'm big, like when I was writing my book, very hard time for me because it was so intense.
Yeah. And
I did a lot of craniosacral therapy, which is awesome. And it is like a form of energy healing that's all about like your spinal fluid. And it's really cool. And like it brought so much, when you put so much energy out, you need ways to get it back in. And I think that like having someone just take care of you in that way is really nice.
I love that.
So yeah.
Love that. Okay, I'm going to have to get your first.
Well, craniosacral is good for babies too.
My TikTok feed is actually showing me some of those things. So
yeah.
What's one financial red flag people ignore?
Your partner's spending, like your partner's finances. Like so many people get married completely blind to their partner's money habits and like what's actually going on under the hood. And it's like, girl, marriage is a business decision. Like that's actually a contract that you're signing. And like, if you don't know the ins and outs of who you're going into business with, like it's not going to be a good business.
Most overrated money advice?
Oh, deprivation for sure. I really don't. I mean, obviously you can't outwork a bad budget, but like there's a floor to how much you can cut. There's no ceiling to how much you can earn. So focus on building your skills and like putting yourself in jobs where you can actually make more money and like all of that. And you're going to see such a bigger ROI.
Yeah, 100%. A financial boundary every woman should have.
I think having your own account. So you don't have to wait. You don't have to ask for any money.
One thing you wish every 20-something knew about money?
A Roth IRA. Like just because when you're in your 20s, like you can put so much less money into an investment account and have it like grow so much more. Like when you're in your 30s, God forbid you're in your 40s, 50s, like it's like we can catch up, but it's not cute, Amanda. We could have done a lot more with a lot less if we just had gotten that money earlier into the market.
100%.
So like even if it's like $100, like whatever it is, like at that point, I like am sort of like deprive yourself a little because you will just see such a big ROI. And also go into the office.
Say more.
I just like really believe in like in-person mentorship. I think there's like so much data coming out too that it's like it's not actually AI that's taking the entry-level jobs. It's like remote work.
Yeah.
Like being with like don't have that be your focus. Like actually like go in, get mentorship, like, you know.
Yeah.
Boots on the ground. Like that built so many relationships for me and so much grit and like discipline. And I don't know what I would have done if in my 20s I could have just like rolled out of bed and opened my laptop and been on Zoom all day. That would have sucked.
Yeah. I I love, we're 3 days in the office, 2 days remote.
That's what we do.
And it's amazing.
Yeah, it's the best.
And also I just need it as an extrovert. I'm like,
Yeah,
I need to absorb energy from my team and know that we're on the same page. We're all vibing. Good. Okay. Last one. What does a future rich person mean to you?
So future rich person, people hear the word rich and I think they think like yachts, billionaires, but it's not actually a number amount. It's really, Amanda, about the control that you get from your money, a control over your life, control to leave a bad relationship, control to make your own decisions. And so being a future rich person just really means that someone who's like in control of their own future.
Yeah.
Like that's what people get wrong about money. Like money is not a number. Money is literally the paintbrush that allows you to like create the canvas of your life.
I'm sure many people are already following you, but if they're not, where can they find you?
Mrs. Dow Jones.
Yep.
My book, Future Rich Person, is out. And also, Financial Tea Podcast. See you every Thursday, girl. Stay rich.
Stay rich. And what's one thing you're most excited about coming up in the horizon for you?
I'm excited. So I just climbed this big mountain. And I think, this is a very ambitious podcast. Like people who listen, I feel like are on their shit. So I feel like I just climbed this major goal of the book, of getting on the New York Times list. It was like a mountain, a multi-year mountain, which I feel like is something I feel really grateful to have had, especially like as a woman in my 30s. Like it's like having a goal is freaking cool.
Yeah.
I feel like getting out of bed for something, I will never take that for granted. But I am excited about figuring out what the next mountain is.
Yeah.
Like I'm in that weird phase where like I've reached the cliff or whatever they call. I don't do that much hiking. So excuse my analogy.
Yeah. You're at a vista right now. You're taking a look around.
I'm taking the gondola down, girl. Then I got to find a different mountain. So I'm looking for that.
Okay, I'm excited to watch
then summer
that.
travels.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for today's episode of Ambition 2.0. I'm Amanda Goetz. We'll see you next time.